A very good evening to all of you. In today's class, we're going to talk about factors influencing personality development. So now let's first see the introduction. As you all know, in the previous classes, we have discussed about the meaning of personality, isn't it? So now we'll see the various factor that's going to influence our development, right? So first, let's just see what is this personality. Personality is a dynamic, growing thing, different from each other, uh, and individuals are different from each other even at birth in physical appearance, motivity, or temperament, right? And remember in the last class we have discussed about the four temperaments: sanguine, choleric, melancholic, all those, right? So these differences become more pronounced and complex with increasing age and maturity. They are quite more characteristic as a result of their interaction with the environment, which is different from person to person. Thus, the process goes on, each one of us developing a personality different from others. So what causes these variations? Why do we develop different personalities in spite of basic or fundamental similarities? The answer to this question can be found in the following discussion of the various factors which influence the growth of personality. So before we go into these factors, right? So we all have different personality despite coming from a common family, right? Uh, having raised from a mother itself, and then still yet among the siblings, we do have a very different personality from one another, right? So let us see what are those factors which actually influence our personality as we grow from one stage to the other stages. Then we will see first the first factor, that is the physiological and physical factors, right? So we are going to talk about these two factors here, physiological and physical factors. So these include the physique of the individual and the nature of glandular functioning. When we say the physique of the individual, it means our physical structure, right? Our body, uh, the shape of the body, for example, the height, the weight, isn't it? The size of the body, and so on. When we talk about glandular, that means the function of hormones in our body system, isn't it? So I'm sure that when you were in class 8, 9, 10, you for those who have not taken science in 11, 12, you have heard about these hormones, how these hormone function in our body system, isn't it? So here, they also include the physical deficiencies and the nature of glandular functioning. Physical appearance is the first thing that attracts our attention in meeting a person, and our judgment of him is inheritably colored by it, right? An attractive physical appearance helps to create self-confidence, self-reliance, and other similarity personality traits in the individual, isn't it? I am sure that whoever listened to me right now, I'm sure that the moment you saw someone walking the street with a good physique, you will have that likability that, okay, I like that person because he have a very good physique, he's tall, he's young, he's like that, right? And that physical appearance of him attracts you to him. Means like you already have a color um comments towards him, like, okay, he must be very active, smart, and so on, right? So these you already creates that self-confidence and other personality traits towards that individual. A large person generally enjoys a forceful and impressive personality. He may develop a tendency to bully or to dominate or to protect. The smaller man may feel belittled in the presence of large and tall people. He may try to compensate for his physical inferiority by being strenuous and hardworking. Similarly, physical attractiveness, strength, and general health may determine in others certain reactions and traits, right? So, see, these are the factors which actually developed our personality. Some of us who are small, who are short in height, if we do not correct ourselves and we do not uh, build our attitudes towards the way we look, the way we are, then you might develop this feeling of inferiority when you walk along with those people who are taller than you, and you may think that they are smarter than you just because they are tall, they have a very good physique, and so on. So that is why it's very, very important for me and you, whoever feels like that, should straighten and correct it yourself and make sure that you develop a positive attitude towards yourself, right? And we cannot only stress on these physical factors that only develop our personality. We also have this physiological factor which related to the glandular functioning. I already mentioned that hormones play a very important uh, role in shaping our personality. So the endocrine glands produce hormones which have the power to raise or depress the activity of the various organs, isn't it? Right? So, for example, an excess of insulin secreted by pancreas may take the individual fatigue, anxious, or tremulous. Hypothyroidism may cause sluggishness, inertia, or dullness, stupidity, whereas hyperthyroidism may cause nervous tension, excitement, and activity. The disturbances caused by glandular imbalance may become worse because of the adverse comments and remarks of the other people. Right? So here, what is important is how other reacts to these characteristics, how the group evaluate the presence, how the group evaluate the presence or absence of these characteristics. The endocrine glands, they produce these hormones which have the power to raise, okay, to raise the activity of the various organs, sorry. So these endocrine glands, okay, like pituitary glands, there are adrenal glands, right? So pituitary glands, they are the glands which presence in our brain, isn't it? Adrenal glands, which is there in abdomen parts. So these glands, they have their own role in actually making us active or making us depressed and so on. So the secretion of these uh, hormones from these glands actually you know uh, motivate us, okay, to whether to do the activity or not to do the activity. So when we have an excess of insulin that is secreted by this pancreas, it will make an individual you know depressed, or maybe they may always, whenever they just work for a little also, they will fatigue, they will, and so on, they will become tired for so fast, okay. And those people who have a little of thyroid may maybe may have this characteristics such as sluggishness, dullness, and sometimes they are being stupid, right? But then those who have excess of thyroid may actually have a nervous tension. They may, break out easily. They may not they can't pay attention for a longer period of time, and so on, right? So these imbalancements in the glandular functioning, it may become worse, okay. So if we do not take in a take it seriously, and we do not go out for health and check out what makes you being fatigued, what makes you being dull, what makes you being stupid, what makes being you have this nervous tensions, it's very, very important for you to go for checkup and find out how to help and make sure that these factors helps you develop a positive personality. Now we'll see the environmental or social factors. These also play an important part, okay, which is the social aspect of individual environment affects personality in a very striking manner. Crowe says an individual personality is influenced more by the reaction of others people to him and by his reaction to other people than by any other in the environment, right? So the following are the environmental or the social factor, that is home, school, and society. So these are these are the factors which actually play an important role in shaping our social aspects of the individual, isn't it? Okay, so now we'll see one by one what are these, how these factors actually helps in developing a good personality, or maybe we don't have a positive personality, or we can say a negative attitude towards ourselves. So we'll see one by one. The first one here is home. So we can also say our family, right? If home is characterized by an atmosphere of peace, love, mutual understanding, harmony, and respect for each member of the group, the child is going to develop a self-confidence and secure personality. According to Freud, the way the child is breastfeeding, the way he is bowel and bladder control, slowly or quickly, all influence the development of the personality. Another factor in the home is the inter-sibling relationship. And another one is also how large is the family also matters. See, you just look around you and introspect yourself, from which kind of family do you belong, and look around you how your parents treat you and how you treat your siblings and your parents. So if you come from the family where there is mutual respect, where there's love, there's forgiveness, there's peace, there's mutual understanding, harmony, and like that, the child, whoever come from such kind of family, he will develop a very good personality trait, which is self-confidence, and have a very secure personality, isn't it? Right? So, and if the child is not given opportunities to exercise his independence or use his initiative, if he is overprotected, he is going to develop an over-dependent personality. Right? Repressive discipline, mark my words, repressive discipline will result in rebelliousness or dependence or personality trait. The only child who is given extra protection and care is likely to develop into an individualistic or self-centered child, demanding and selfish if parents do not teach him to share what he has with parents and friends. Yes, I have seen such kind of children who come from such family who overprotected him or her, and then who does not get uh, a moral value of sharing with others. They develop this personality such as selfishness, and then a quite demanding one, right? So that is why becoming a parent is not an easy task. So becoming a parent is a very difficult task, as they themselves have to show a very good examples towards children in order to make sure that the children that follows their their exam sorry their you know their the way they practice, right? And that is why here we can say that, and if also those children coming from a family where there is always chaosness, conflict, there disharmony, there is no mutual understanding, there is no peace, no mutual love, and so on. So these children tends to be rebellious. They tends to be a rebel person, and then if any people disturb that person, he might get angry very soon, and he might react in a very different, weird way, I would say, and then you may not like to be around that person. But poor thing, you should also understand, if you met any kind of such persons who are always angry, you should understand from now on, since you already know that the reason behind why he's so angry all the time is because in The family itself, there is no such values which teach him to be calm, to be kind, to be harmonized, and so on. So if you meet such person, talk in a very calm way, make him understand that it's not the way to always react in such a very unusual manner, and so on, isn't it? So now you will understand that why some people, they're super calm, they're very kind, and so on, and so on, like that, right? So because of how the parents, they rear the children, isn't it? But I'm not generalizing that, because there are some family where where the family is not so united, not so, I mean, I would say there is no mutual understanding, but still the children, inherit such kind of traits which they are different from them. Maybe they have a role model of themselves. Maybe they have a role model of, like, for example, they may have a role model like Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi, who have this cardinal traits such as non-violence. That Mother Teresa also have this cardinal traits of being kind. So even though in the family they may be very rude, the family do not understanding him, but he is different from that family because he have his own role model. That is why he developed a very different personality compared to his family members, isn't it? So the early care given to the child or by his mother is an important condition in the home, according to Freud and his followers. The way the child is breastfeeding, the way he is bowels and bladder control, all this will influence the development of personality. It's very, very important that the mother should breastfeed the child, because that is the early care that they get from the mother. They will feel more attachment towards the mother. Otherwise, than if she or he does not get a full attachment at the early age, she may or he may not have a complete development of personality. You understand? So another factor is the inter-sibling relationship. Even the sex of the child in Hindu homes is a factor to be reckoned with, because boys rather than girls are given more love and attention, and that creates in girls many frustration, which leads to the development of regressive and rebellious tendency in them. The latter, on account of a culture, take the form of intra-aggression. Right? So, how large a family also matters. The size of the family also matters. It also contributes towards the developing of personality. In a large family, children learns to compete and cooperate, to live together and share things, to love and help one another. These attitudes may be carried into life. If quarrels are rampant, jealousies are acute, these experiences produce attitudes which may affect adjustment outside the home and in later life. So, see, even the size of the family, it does matters when it comes to personality development, right? So, as you've already heard about how when the family is large, how the siblings will cooperate with each other, and then they will love each other, they will respect each other, live together. But then if the parents do not treat them well right from the early age, then they may be quarreling every time, there will be jealousy, there will be competitions, and so on, right? So these are these are the one of the factors that helps in influencing the development of personality. The second one is school. I'm sure you must be all saying after your class 10 that the best part of your life is school life, isn't it? You must be missing wearing your uniform, and then missing your school, and especially missing your best friend, especially if you are all going in different lines of study, isn't it? So let's see how school have a very impactful ways of contributing to development of your personality, isn't it? The first one is, it is in the school that most children first learn to adjust to a larger group of people. The second one, the personality of the teacher, the richness of the curriculum, the presence of curricular activities, the method of teaching, the types of discipline that prevails, all are going to affect the child personality. Number three, over aggressive and dominating. teacher encourage rebellious, resistant, and emotional instability in children. Number five, Number four, adequate recreational facilities and competent supervision, team games, and cooperative enterprises will also develop socially desirable traits. Number five, modern democratic trends and procedure in the classroom and in the organization of school programs have beneficial effects on personality development. So see how the school helps in developing the personality of the students. So it is in the school itself, which I can also agree to that, that it helps us to adjust to a larger number of people, right? Because in the school we are around 60, 70 of us, and then we know how to adjust while sitting in that bench of 4 people or 5 people, isn't it, sharing tiffins and playing together during break time and so on. So really schools have really helped us to learn to adjust to a larger group of people. And another one is the personality of the teacher itself already creates in the minds of the students to be okay. I want to be like her. She's my role model, and so on. And the richness of the curriculum is very very important because the curriculum is the backbone of education. So it's very important that the curriculum provides opportunity platforms for the students to energize their inner talent, and especially for those students who are introverts, right? So the presence of curricular activities, the methods of teaching that the teacher use, and the types of discipline that the principal uh, you know uh, apply towards the students, all these will affect the personality of the student. So if the teacher or the principal or any staff, if they if they exert this over aggressiveness and being dominating, then the teacher and the staff or the principal, they may encourage rebellious, resistant, and emotional instability in children. They, instead of being kind, open towards the teacher, they will fear them, and then they will not tell whether they have understood or not in the class, and they will, and so on, right? So if we have this adequate recreational facilities, for example, like game, sports, academics, um, there are so many activities is happening in school, isn't it? All of us have enjoyed, and these activities and these recreational facilities that has been given to us, all these, it helps us developing. It helps develop our personality in a social manner, isn't it? And then the way we learn the subject in school, right? The modern democratic trends are affecting our school organization. Democratic procedures in the classroom and in the organization of school programs and activities have beneficial effects on personality development. Children learn the lessons of equality, freedom, fair play, respect for the rights and opinions of others. So these attitudes, play a vital role in shaping the society in the future. Now, the last point of the environmental factor is society. We are influenced by the various social roles that we have to play in various situations and relationships. Then there are rules and regulations of society or the groups to which we belong. Yes, we develop having control our behavior and conducting ourselves in conformity with these rules called the social code. Other social factors that influence our personalities are the cinema, newspaper, and the radio. Now look around us. We are in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. So just recently in the news, Delhi, have experienced a COVID spike whereby there's increase of numbers in people getting coronavirus, right? And now they have come up with this very strict rules that whoever does not wear, whoever found out without mask, they will have to pay a penalty of rupees 2,000, isn't it? So people who, who does not follow this rule, the social code, I would say, then they have to pay this penalty, which is rupees 2000, because it's very, very important that people understand the fact that it's important to wear masks, because many people are getting positive, and it will be a very difficult task for the doctors, nurse, and the officer in charge, even for the politicians to take charge of all these things, because it takes mm, times, and it takes efforts to actually makes people understand about the importance of wearing masks. If not, then we have to bear the consequences, isn't it? So here we have to understand that society also play a very important role in shaping our personality, right? We all have we do project our own personality based on our culture, the values that we learn, the knowledge that we impart, isn't it? The traditions that we enjoy, that we actually practice, all these influence our personality, right? So now let's see the next factors which is going to develop our personality. So we have come to the last factor, that is psychological or mental factors. So in today's world, this factor is the talk of the, I mean, talk of the topic, or you can say that people are really stressed on this topic, which is called mental health or psychological factors, right? People are aware of this, and people are taking seriously of this, and then because most of the time usually we used to hide, we used to feel shy sharing all these things, but now it's become a trend where people come forward and talk about how mental illness, it really affect their personality, and it sometimes even uh, make the people going so down that they even commit suicide, right? So these include our motives, acquired interests, our will and character, our intellectual capacities such as intelligence, the ability to perceive, to observe, to imagine, to think, and to reason. These factors determine our reactions in various situations and thus affect our personality's growth and direction. An individual with a considerable amount of willpower will be able to make decisions more quickly than others. He will be able to put in greater effort in order to solve a problem. Intelligence will help him in making adequate adjustment and in collecting facts and understanding the relationship. All these will contribute to the development of personality. So these are the factors, you know, which really helps us in developing our personality. Okay, and it's very important for a person to have a positive attitude towards self. Once you are able to love yourself, then you will be able to love others and understand others, empathize others, sympathize others, and so on, right? So it's very important for all of us. If you find any people are acting weird and then do not um, like to stay in a company of friends and always stay in alone and so on, I think you need to talk to that person, because it's very, very important that they should share their burdens and so that they will feel light, isn't it? And then it's very important that they have to put efforts in order to solve a problems. So it also acquired a person's intelligence to help that person in making adequate adjustment and in collecting facts and understanding the relationships. So all these will eventually contributes to the development of personality. So we have come to the end of this topic. So these are the factors, that is physical factors or physiological factors, then psychological factors, mental factors, environmental factors, social factors. These are the factors which develop our personality. So thank you for listening. Thank you.